David Wilkinson, President and General Manager for Retail at NCR. Thank you for being here. What are some of the major disruptors for fuel retailers and convenience retailers today?
Yeah, there are so many disruptions happening in our marketplace today. And when we think about what's happening with acquisitions and just consolidation in the overall industry, we're seeing that in the global markets. We see companies like the EG Group that are buying fuel stations in Australia, buying fuel stations in the US. They own fuel stations in the UK. So I think consolidation of the industry is a big play for us. I also see a big push towards really getting convenience back into our convenience market. And that means a lot of things for a lot of people, but one is location. How do we get more stores in more locations? How do we make sure we have the right products and the assortments that are available for the store locally? And then how do we make shopping easier? How do I make or take friction out of the process? How do I make the process more easy to buy? How do I make it convenient to buy fuel, add items, perhaps get food? So I think that's a big deal that we're seeing in a massive disruption.
We know that loyalty and customer care are incredibly important in today's market to bring that customer back into the store. How do you see that landscape today? And do you feel like retailers can still improve in that area?
Loyalty is a massive deal in convenience and fuel right now, and consumer engagement is critical. If you think about all the brands that we have that in the marketplace today, in terms of brands serving customers, their real differentiation is how they engage with their consumer. And that may sound obvious, but it is really about creating that differentiated experience. And why wouldn't you leverage something like a loyalty program or technology to drive deeper consumer engagement? The key, there are a lot of people doing it really well, and there are a lot of people that need some help, but I think the key is how do I leverage the data that I have on my existing consumers, what they do, what they like to buy, how they shop, and that'll be critical to creating a loyalty program that's relevant, and it really becomes more of the opt-in. How do you create a compelling event, a give for a get on a loyalty or consumer engagement program? I mean, we're all products of social media. I'm a little older, so I'm not quite as up to speed on social media, but if you think about what the generations are doing today in terms of how they use Instagram, how they use it for influencing products, so how do you start to integrate some of those capabilities into what you're doing and make it more seamless when on a loyalty program? So if I think about, I opt in on Instagram, people give a lot of data. In return, they get more targeted content, more rich content, offers that are relevant about content that matters to them and is endorsed by their circle of friends or their circle of trust. So I think that's where we'll see the evolution of loyalty and consumer engagement to differentiate the brands that are serving the market.
In the future where service stations become mobility and service hubs, what is the role of a technology company like NCR?
As the pivot happens to this service hub concept, technology becomes even more important. I think if you look at what technology was used for in the past in a convenience station, in a fuel station, is really how do I pump gas? How do I ring up a transaction? What we would call just scan, total, tender. So you think about the technology to enable consumers to interact in different ways. If I have an EV charging station, how do I book time on the EV charging station? Or perhaps how do I get a membership to an EV charging station? Maybe I have a traditional fuel car that is running on gasoline, and then I want to buy things in the store. I've now created a store that has more prepared food offerings or prepackaged foods. I want to order ahead. So think about all the technology required to enable that. And then there are other ancillary services that I've talked to many retailers about. They're going to start adding other services in the store to create more of a destination. And you think about that service, that concept of a service hub, it's no longer I'm going to get fuel, tobacco, soft drinks, alcohol. I'm going there to perhaps start my day, to create a good start to a day, to perform valuable services, and really check off my to-do list as I go into the convenience store.
And what is the potential for e-commerce at gas stations and C-stores?
Yeah, e-commerce is an emerging trend really for convenience and fuel. It really hasn't been a big play, but you're seeing more and more of our customers, specifically the ones that are in food service, take part in the order ahead or buy online, pick up in store and delivery. I mean, it's really been a requirement in today's environment with COVID to do order ahead food. I think as we see them becoming more and more comfortable with order ahead food, adding items that were traditionally just in stock in a store, the convenience items that you would have seen in the store, we'll call it the center of the store items, I think will become more and more relevant. You know, we're experimenting, we're seeing that more in grocery. So I think the trends that we were seeing in grocery in terms of the ability to create a grocery list or a shopping list, buy online, add to it when you get to the store, I think that trend will continue for convenience. I mean, we don't call it convenience for nothing. You think about today, in today's world, I'll use the A word, Amazon. Everybody loves to buy on Amazon because it's easy. They know who I am, they know my data, they know what I like to buy. I feel like I'm getting the best deal. But nobody likes to shop online. We like to buy online, we don't like to shop online because we don't get the experience. If I'm hungry or I'm snacky and I don't know what I want to go into the store and figure out what I want. But if I pick up a soda or I pick up a candy bar, it would be nice to get another offer real time on a mobile device, as an example, that says, hey, you know, if you buy this one candy bar and you buy a soda, that you get a promotion, or you get a free donut, or you get a free whatever. Those are the kind of things that if we enable some of the rich content that is available as you're buying online to your in-store shopping experience real time, I think that's what will really make e-commerce powerful in the convenience space.
At the start of August, NCR announced the acquisition of LibertyX. What kind of role do you see cryptocurrencies playing in the retail area?
LibertyX was a strategic acquisition for us, and we didn't do it because we think Bitcoin is the future of payments and retail technology, but we do know that the blockchain and distributed ledger and alternative payment methodologies are going to be key. So we wanted to get into the game, so to speak, in what's happening in crypto. You mentioned Circle K. We have many other retailers in the convenience space that are, I'll say, dabbling with cryptocurrency. It's really about enabling crypto to be bought and sold in the convenience store more as a means to bring traffic into the store as a point of convenience, much like we did in the days of an ATM, which, you know, NCR now has Cardtronics as part of our family of assets. So, you know, similar to that, we have the ability to do crypto, and we do see we will extend the ability of our cash machines to do more digital currency. Now, that's just one use case. I think there are other use cases. We talked a little bit about loyalty before. I think there's some use cases in terms of stored value, loyalty programs, all leveraging blockchain and distributed ledger to create lighter weight, kind of less of the clearinghouse side of things for gift cards, stored value cards, loyalty program, and then just I think the ability to offer alternative payment rails at some point in the future, leveraging the knowledge that we'll gain from cryptocurrency and what we do with Bitcoin is big. We also see a big use case in remittance, both cross-border remittance and in-country transfer of money. And again, whether Bitcoin is the right answer to that, there is some answer in terms of how we serve the unbanked or the underbanked with something like a cryptocurrency. So we think there's a lot of applicability. We see a lot of people dabbling in it. We want people to think about NCR when they think about cryptocurrency and payments.
Chip cards, cash, mobile apps, in-car payments. There's so many different options today to pay for goods and fuel. If looking into the future, which of these options do you think will remain, and do you see any new ones appearing in this space?
I think we have to be ready for all payments. And I don't mean that to specifically dodge the question. We think about the long tail of payments, and we're all familiar with things like checks. We still accept checks in a lot of areas, which is phasing out, but finally phasing out. Cash is still a massive part of our economy in terms of how people pay, at least in many parts of the world. Many parts of the world, it's completely digital. You know, I think contactless, I think specifically in the US, contactless will catch up with the rest of the world in many parts in terms of where we learn as a set of consumers to tap to pay. But I think the key ones that will be really disruptive and we need to watch for and will become more and more prevalent are digital forms of payment, whether it's the mobile device, like we were talking about cryptocurrency or some other digital form of stored payment, or loyalty, or kind of retailer specific forms of wallets. I think our big challenge has been ubiquity, and you know it's really hard to have something as ubiquitous as a credit card or a national currency. So I think we're going to see more and more capabilities that have ubiquitous offerings that will open up the door for more digital payments. So, card will be here, cash will be here, but we have to watch out for what's going to happen in the digital world.